Hello, everyone. My name is Norman. Thank you very much for joining me on another episode of the fourth period. Thank you very much for giving me some of your time of the day and clicking on the video. And let's get right into this review or discussion, rather, on the Washington Capitals and Pittsburgh Penguins game that just transpired 17th of January 2021. So, usually I would review the game a little, give you the talking points of the game, some of the major action that transpired, and I might do so, but I am incredibly tired. So I thought it would perhaps be better to just talk about some of the problems and some of the positives that I saw today and that I've seen throughout the season so far for the Washington Capitals and for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So tonight, the Smith started in net for the Penguins, and it was inevitable with Tristan Jarry's horrendous performances against the Philadelphia Flyers in the first two games of the season. There was no way to justify playing Tristan Jarry against the Washington Capitals. The Smith didn't have a great night, but he didn't have a bad night either, to be fair, and I will be curious to see if they continue to go with the Smith going forward. It wouldn't surprise me. I expect him to start the next game, although it might have just been rest for Tristan Jarry. But yeah, and then Samsonov started for the Capitals, which not very surprising, but equally I wouldn't have been surprised if Vitek Vanecek had started, as he had quite a good game last time out. But I do agree with not rushing players, especially at that age, into the team. He had a good game, but Samsonov has already proven that he can hang at the NHL level. Yes, he will make mistakes, he will have bad games, but it's the NHL. Every goalie has them. There's no goalie that goes through a season without terrible games, without terrible moments. So, the talking points that I've seen in this game and I've seen throughout the season so far for the Penguins is the defense. So, two of the goals today came from very avoidable situations. The first one with obviously Lafferty giving the puck away to Nick Dowd, and then the second one with Marino just doing nothing on the puck, losing it to Tom Wilson in the defensive zone, and then was it Pettersson? I think yes, Pettersson, who skates into his own goalie to leave an open net for Alex Ovechkin. Now, how do you address that situation? I don't know. I don't even know if Cody Ceci was Cody Ceci actually playing today. I'm going to take a look. So, NHL.com. Was Cody Ceci playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins? I am very curious to see. Game Center. So, Cody Ceci was not playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins. So, I don't know if he was a healthy scratch, if he is injured, if he has been waived. I know he hasn't been waived, but that's interesting. Cody Ceci hasn't been playing. He hasn't been great, obviously, but when you look right here, I've got the page up. When you look at the defenders that were playing for the Pittsburgh Penguins today, Chris Letang, 29 minutes 10. Marino, 20 minutes 21. Dumoulin, 21 minutes and a half. It's not great. It's a far cry from the Pittsburgh Penguins team that won back-to-back Stanley Cups. And here again, the Smith was a save percentage of .870, 20 saves on 22 shots, which on even strength, it says here, yeah, 20 saves on 22 shots on even strength and 3 on 4 on the power play. It's not great. The defense for the Penguins is not great, and I'll be curious to see how they address it. Obviously, Aaron Dell was on waivers today. Maybe they might claim him, which would surprise me, but I'm expecting another team to claim Aaron Dell. Maybe they trade for a defenseman. Obviously, they have Kapanen, who needs to come into the offense. That means that someone on the offense is going to leave. the second or third line or the first one and be moved down. So they might use a player and some picks or some other players that currently aren't on the roster as some trade value and trade for a defenseman, which I think is a thing to do for the Penguins, especially since your main defenseman, Chris Letang, is getting up there in age. He will get tired. He's probably going to play every single game, but should he? That's another debate. Now, the Washington Capitals. Where do you begin with them? So, offensively, they've got a good mix of experience and of youth. So they've got obviously Ovechkin, they've got Backstrom up there, they've got Oshie who bring some tutoring, some mentoring, and some experience while still being an incredibly good line. They're playing on the same line. They're an incredibly good line. They're incredibly good players. Alex Ovechkin doesn't seem to be slowing down yet. He might, and he probably is slowing down, but very gradually. And then they've got young players such as Kuznetsov. Well, he's not very young, but he's not old either. Kuznetsov, Tom Wilson, Daniel Sprong, Jacob Vrana, who will they still get better? That's a good question. That's the question. Offensively, there's not that much of a problem, but the third line doesn't really produce much. The fourth line doesn't really produce much. And that's a problem that the Washington Capitals are currently facing, that they need production. They need that third line and that fourth line to tire out the defense of the opponents, to lay out those big hits, to get into the fight sometimes, to get into the heads of the opponents. And I'm not seeing enough of it. I'm seeing some of it and I'm seeing patches of it, but I'm not seeing enough of it. And then there's lapses of concentration from the team where they will just forget to play and they'll just concede goals like they did against the Buffalo Sabres, like they did today against the Pittsburgh Penguins. The lapses of concentration, or those moments where the hockey IQ seems to not be there with the moment like Samsonov had. And I know obviously he is a goalie, but the defense, there's two players on the guy that intercepts it. I can't remember who it was. There's a player on Colton Sevier who scores the goal, yet he doesn't do anything. And the defense for Washington, obviously, you've got John Carlson, you've got Zdeno Chara, you've got Orlov, Dylan, Jensen, and Schultz, who I think is very good backline. It's very good all across the board, first line up until the third line. But you're not seeing any of that physicality that you would expect him to bring with Orlov, with Dylan, with Chara. You're not seeing any of the physicality. You're seeing a very reserved team, as if they are not allowed to go out there and really play to their own strengths. So I think we need to see improvements on that part from the Capitals. But I am curious to see what that will give. So today there's still one game, which is the Chicago Blackhawks against the Florida Panthers. I am not going to watch it. I just did this video in this format where I just talk about both teams because I am incredibly tired. I actually really enjoy talking about the teams in this way, so I think that's something I'll give a try, but I need some more preparation. I need obviously more concentration on my part. Tomorrow, Columbus, Detroit, Boston, Islanders, Winnipeg, Toronto. I'll obviously be covering that. Buffalo, Philadelphia. Any other games tomorrow? San Jose, St. Louis, Carolina, Nashville, Minnesota, Anaheim, Montreal, Edmonton, Vancouver, Calgary. So I'll be covering some of those games for sure tomorrow. I don't know which ones yet. But anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. And 67 views so far on the video on the Bruins and the Arizona Coyotes with Jack Hughes. Thank you very much for watching those videos, even if you only watch a minute. If you perhaps didn't enjoy it, still, it's very much appreciated. I just get my opinion out there. I don't expect anyone to watch it, but it's still nice getting those notifications that some of the videos are doing good. So anyway, thank you very much for watching. My name is Norman, and I'll talk to you very soon.